Hi, my name is Matt and welcome. This is the video tutorial series when I show you how to create an RPG game mechanics using Unity. This is so far 15th part of the series, and today we will go ahead and create some GUI for our inventory system. And let me quickly show you what was my inspiration. So this, as far as I recognize, was a Skyrim mod that has never been released. I made these graphics on Google, and we will try to create something similar today. Not exactly the same, but similar. I mean, those list of items over here, this item that we can preview by using our mouse, and we will have here some statistics. So this is the general idea. Okay, and let's start. So I have already imported the textures. Over here in textures I have created a folder called UI. Here I've got the background. This is the texture that I've created myself, and all of this will be in a package, and after imported they will be probably texture type will be set to texture, but you have to change it to sprite to the end UI and apply the changes. And because this texture will be large, I suggest changing the filter mode to 3D now and hit apply. So those 5 are some icons that I've created and I found some images on Google and convert them. They are all same size and they will be in a package, and I guess that's hard to see them, but you will see in a minute how do they look. Okay, so I will start by creating a canvas, or maybe I will just create a panel. This canvas is scaled, of course, because of the canvas scalar component. You may consider changing this to constant physical size, and as I remember, maybe not, scale with screen size, and I just want to make it the same. Okay, so now I guess it should be same, and it scales with my default resolution. Yes. Okay, so first I will rename it. So this is an inventory canvas, and this is called screen fader. And I will change the color to black and reduce the alpha, because I just want to barely see I barely see the game. Now I will hit T and stretch it a little bit out of anchors, because I do not want some white edges over here, and now all my screen is faded by some black panel. Okay, so now I will add my texture. I go ahead UI image, and I hit this guy to stretch the anchors over the canvas, and now on my image I can drag the background over here, and there's a way, I guess, to okay, so I press Alt and I click this guy and it's stretched over the canvas, and as you see now I've got on my screen this background image that I've created, and you can download from my Dropbox. The link will be entered in the description, and I will name it just background. Okay, so now I will create a first panel and then I will probably post the video because it may be boring. So I'll create first panel and I will call it and yes, and this is actually reversed, so from this side I want it to be over here, like this. And now the point is when I scale, because the anchors are stretched around the canvas in the canvas edges, so now when I scale it, it behaves properly, as you see in general. But if I want this panel to make this stretch on the same part of the screen every time, you might consider just putting your anchor points manually to the points you want your panel to be, like this, when working on one resolution. And now this will take the same amount of space no matter what resolution we use, and that's kind of what we want. So sometimes it's worth to set something manually. Okay, I think it might be a little bit shorter. Okay, now I will pause video and add other panels. So now we've got 5 panels. This is called item list, this is text background, icon background, item preview and item stats. And we'll go ahead and first grab this guy and I will add some text. I will also move my anchors manually over here. Maybe I do not want it to be that big. Of course, this panel will be invisible later, but for now it will just help us. I think this is okay. I will take name, and this text will be constant, of course. And I will hit the best fit button. Probably it should be a little bit darker than pure white. And let's see it in a game. We've got the name text, but it's too big actually for me, so I will scale it a little bit down. I mean, I will scale the anchors, of course, and everything will be scaled with it, with them. Okay, so we've got our name. I'll move it to the right. So let's see how it's working. We've got the name, change the resolution. So it's okay, like the best fit property does what it is designed for. You see the text scaled. And now I will call it name, duplicate this, move it over here, move the anchors, once again, move the anchors like this, and this time I will type wait. Looks like they're not exactly same. Don't know why. But okay, I think it's okay for the tutorial purposes. Let's see now. Yes. And I will call it wait, of course. I will duplicate it one more time, move it over here. And I will call it value. Let's see, we've got a name, weight, and a value. For our properties of our item properties to show. Okay, and now I will add icons, so I will do the same with my icons background. I will add, this time I will add an image. I will move my anchors manually. It's a bit of a job, but I guess it's worth to do those, because then your GUI will be scaled in every possible resolution. I mean, the most. And I want it to be a square actually. But actually, first I will just drop this image. Let's do it like that. Stretch the anchors, move it like this. Like this. Let's see it in the game. I think this icon is okay. Maybe it could be a little bit better, bigger. So let's say I stretch it to the max. Once again, these panels will be invisible, so don't worry. Okay, in my B, so I will pause the video and add other 4. Okay, so I've added them and there's still space, so if you want add some your own, go ahead and do that. But for now we'll use just those 5. So when we click this, we'll have all items here. And when we click this, only weapons, only armor, only potion, and only other stuff. And I do not want to be so shiny and white, so I will change the color similar to the text. Like A3, A3, A3 of F. I remember the hex for this gray, so I will type it again. As I said, the panels will be invisible, so don't worry. You can preview how does it look. to better see what is where. And when we click, we will make it pure white. Okay, so now I will add this stick texture that I didn't show you. It's the same as here, and we will put it one here and one here to separate those. So I will do it fast because we do not have much time actually. I will add an image, drag and drop this guy, put it somewhere like, or maybe not. I will start with the anchors. Let's see. I just wanted to have the same theme like this, so it should be probably a little bit why they are here, it should be over here, I guess. Do not know why. I probably missed it. Okay. Okay, so I guess it works nice. I will name it like who cares, image 01. Duplicate this. Try to move it. Okay, now see this in the game. Okay, they looks nice. They look nice. And this should be called image02. Okay, so let's add the item list actually over here. I will start by creating item a frame for one item, and then we will duplicate it using scripts as we did in our input manager. Okay, so first I need to duplicate this actually, because then our list of items might go after that, it might be longer than this rect, and we need to scroll it and move it and stuff like that. So here I will create another panel. I will change its color so you can see what it is. Let's make it barely blue. I will of course set it to transparent after everything, and change it frame list, and in here I will create an image and make sure that frame rest. Okay, I just wanted to check the anchors, and here we need set an image. I'm actually could have been a panel, but never mind. And I will call it item frame. I will change its color, and here I will add text inside. Like over here. This might not be enough, but let's check. I will type just item name, and I will click best fit, and the color would be almost white, like this. Let's see it again. Looks nice. So I will duplicate this, put it over here. This will be much shorter. It will contain a number, so let's put a number here for now, like 100, and probably I will need to center this. I will maximize display to see how does it look. Very nice. And I will duplicate once again, move it over here. And call item value. Okay, so now we've got one frame. Let's duplicate this. So I will create a script. Well, lots of scripts actually here. I will create a C# script called inventory menu, and open this up. Where is it? Here it is. Okay. Get rid of those, and I will assign the script here into my item list, I think. Or maybe I will assign it to frame list. So now we need some public variables. I need some game object item frame. Wait for scripts to compile and drag and drop this guy. And I think every item frame also needs a script, and I will name it item frame. And the script was probably added over here, so drop it into scripts, open this also. So I will put them here, and for now I will just put some public variables here. Public string name, public int. So those are just public, we'll use them later. Or maybe we will use them now. Okay, so in await function, let's and I will also set up some public reference. Name text for those, and I will set them manually because this guy will be later copied, so I just want to have everything prepared. And I do not want to have them as a game object, I want to have them as a text, I guess. So I need to add using unity-ng that UI, and here I can use a text class, and now name text that text equals name, weight text that text equals weight that to string, because it's an int and we need to convert it to a string, and the same for value. Like value that to string. So to prove you that it's working, I will quickly type something, prepare references, and go ahead. You know, I've got what I've said here, but it isn't what I want actually, because I want them to take the parameters for my inventory. So I will go here into this inventory menu script, and first I need to reference to my player inventory script. So in awake function I will make this reference. You remember that this script is connected to the game manager, and I've done it some times before, so now I won't really go into it. And I need a reference to my I need to find my game manager by name and then get a reference to this script, and I need it actually. So here, like player inventory, let's say pi, and now pi equals game object that find I will copy the game manager because I never remember how I've written this. That get component player inventory. Okay, so now I can access my inventory list for this script by typing pi.inventory. Oops. I need to tell it some function like start. And this is basically referencing to this list of items. So what I can do, I can type for each item it in player inventory, and for now I will just print them. For example, it.name. I just want to show you how does it work. And when I open the game, nothing happens. Well, let's change it to update. Now it does. So probably we've listed these guys before we've loaded the inventory. So what we can do, we can go over here, not really And yes, you have to go here in Enhanced Scripts, click Execution Order, and as you remember, this is the order then the script are executed. I need to add player inventory and add inventory menu, and make sure that inventory menu is done after player inventory. So let's hit apply and see now. Actually, now it's in update, so not the best idea. But now in start, make sure that I've saved. It should be okay, and this is everything. Okay, but that's not what we want actually. We want to have them on our GUI. So I will delay printing, and we need a couple more reference. So first of all, I probably haven't, okay, I've set item frame, but we need reference to this, it's rect transform. So rect transform item frame rect transform, and we also need a temporary game object, so I will type game object tmp, and we will also need a reference to its rect transform, tmp rect transform. Okay, so now I will game object that instantiate, so I will clone the original object, which is item frame. Now we need to get reference to it, so I will say that my temporary game object became something that is being instantiated right now. Then I need to make this parent of this guy, so tmp.transform.set parent game object that transform, which is basically telling set transform to this temporary game object, to the game object that this script is attached to. And when I play, you see that we've got some clones of the item frame, and they are basically in a proper place in a hierarchy. And without this, they will be like here. So it's important to have this. Now we need to get reference to the temporary game object rect transform. So tmp rect transform equals tmp.getComponent rect transform. We've done it sometimes before. And then there's some functions that I'm not sure actually. tmp rect transform dot local scale equals item frame rect transform dot local scale, and uncorded position is equal to item frame rect transform dot uncorded position. And then we need to move, and actually I am afraid that for each loop, okay, so we cannot use for each loop. I'm sorry, I thought we can, but it's actually not that simple. So I will so we need an iterator going from 0 to the size of our inventory right now, and this remains the same with creating new item frame, and then tmp rect transform that uncorded position. We have to move it down, and how much we need to move it down? the size of the item frame multiplied by the numbers of frames created so far. So plus equals new vector 2, 0 on x-axis, and item frame rect transform that height that height. Okay, plus let's add an offset and we multiply this by minus I. Let's see now. Got some problems. Yes, we are missing reference, of course. So here we need to set the reference for our rect transform. So we need to get component in our item frame. The base item frame that we will soon delete. So something's not working, I'm afraid. And I don't know what's going on actually. Okay, I figured it out. The problem wasn't in a code, but over here, how I just printed, and it showed me that it's moved in a proper way, but I've forgotten to set an anchor over here to be on the top. So I press Alt, hit this guy, top, and now when I press, everything's working. Of course, expect that I got some zeros only, and nothing's over here. So I need another reference, this time to my item frame script. So let's type item frame tmp that if is from item frame, and every time that let's say min equals that inventory of I use an index operator, that name. Let's see if it's working. Of course it doesn't, because I've forgotten about reference that I was talking about. Equals tmp that get component item frame. So you see that the names are assigned, but they aren't being displayed. And that's again because this script is called up before this script. Do not really know how that's possible. Maybe it isn't even called. So how I will deal with it? I won't make it in an awake function. I will just make this function public called like set values. What's your hint? I don't know. And over here after setting everything, wait, that value, I will just call this function and it will do it for me. So let's see. Now you see, now everything is set up, and what is displayed here is what I have over here. So once again, for every item in our inventory, we instantiate a clone of our frame item, which is like some scratch to work with, and then we set it in a proper spot in our GUI, and then we set the values and call the function that changes them in GUI. And after that, what I suggest is removing this item frame, or at least making it invisible. So I will type item frame that set active false. So now you see that this guy isn't active, but I haven't removed this from the scene because we will need it later. So these are our items, but let's say we've got more of them. So let me actually, in a game, change it to 10. Nothing's changed on GUI, of course. Let's change something. And then I hit F5. Inventory was saved. Then when loaded, we have 10 items, but it's still less, so let's add like 20. And hit F5, and now our list goes far more than we want, and we cannot see all the items. So how do we deal with it? First, we can set the rect mask, so we just add component rect mask, and everything that's parented and goes down will be cut. But that's not what we want, because it's actually what we want a little bit, because the items do not go far down, but we also cannot access right now the items that are invisible. So we need a way to scroll this list. So let's do it. You can write your own script to achieve that, but there is a much easier way. What you need to do is to just add scroll rect, and then our content will be, of course, the frame list, and our viewport will be item list, like this. I will first set it to be unrestricted, and I will play the game. It's moving, but really slow, so I will change it to 100. Now the list is moving, but we can move it too high on. You see that's not what we want. So changing this to clamp does not help, because we cannot move it at all, and that's because it moves this guy, this rect, this rect, in this rect, and since they are the same, we cannot move it. If we expand it down, say like this, we will be able to move it, but we need to expand it exactly the same as a number of object here to the last object over here, and now we can scroll it properly. And to do that we need some scripting, but it's very easy if you know how to do it. But first I will move and set my frame list like this, and it won't cause any changes to our item list because they are uncharted on the top. So first I need a reference to the rect transport of my frame list. I will just add rect transfer, and I need to set it up. And here I need to set the size delta 0 on X, and in Y-axis we need to set it to be that long that the sum of every item frame that we've created. So this is the length of the one item frame, and we need to multiply it by inventory.count. And of course it should be like this: size delta equals new vector 2. See if it's working. Yes, it does, but on the start we've got our list in the middle. You see it's exactly in the middle over here. So we can, for example, move it down, and we would move it 0 on x-axis, and like this, divided by 2, and don't forget to add a minus because we move it down. And now everything's working. We've got our list, we can scroll it. Very nice. So if you want, you can now change those to be visible, as I said. And yes, and also here we need to actually set it to be invisible. Okay, so this is our list of items with an item list that we can change, and it's drawn actually based on what we have here in our inventory. Those icons aren't working yet, and we will get to it in the next episodes. And this is the conclusion for this video. I hope you'll learn something, and in the next part we will create probably the item preview field, and we will see. I'm starting to realize that 5 episodes are a little bit not enough for complex series about inventory creation, but we will see in the future. And for now, thanks for watching, and till next time. Goodbye.